Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris Payne. Today I'm going to tell you why the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Ravens are not my favorite team to look out for. So, this is about week 3 into the season. We've seen some good teams play bad. We've seen some bad teams play good. So I want to start it off with Thursday night, Bills, Dolphins. And what I noticed was, I think that the Bills have demonstrated that, they're an evolution of a team, right? Like a couple years ago, they got Stephon Diggs. They had all these different pieces, and they were just a chuck it down the field team. But now, you've noticed that Josh Allen has developed his game to where he doesn't need to throw the deep ball. He can throw the checkdowns. He can use his legs less. And just really be able to dice you up, versus Tua, what you're going to get week in and week out, and it's just simply not enough. All the head injuries, the hip surgery, it's just not clicking, and I think Miami will be the worst team in the league this year, no doubt in my mind. And that's coming from someone who thinks the Titans are just as bad. So I thought that it was, they were toying with them. I think that they were trying to be more situational, knowing that they could have just blown out the Dolphins. But saying, okay, if we're in a methodical game where there's long drives and not too many possessions, how would we react in this situation? And I think you really saw that their defense can step up, and Josh Allen is very cool under pressure. So that was my takeaway from the Thursday night game. I think what else has surprised me early in the season is just, one, how the Colts have played given all of the chaos that they've been going through with Anthony Richardson, top 5 pick, Florida, what you would want in your prototypical quarterback, just gunslinger, 4.4 40, but cannot, pass 10 yards without missing his receiver. So I think that Daniel Jones has come in and really been a professional about it, spread the ball around. Jonathan Taylor is a really great back to inherit. And I think that, the Colts are a team I'm not going to take too serious, but I think that they can win the division. They can host a playoff game. But, beyond that, I think that they're a really nice story so far. So we'll see, if people get enough tape on Daniel Jones, this version of Daniel Jones. I've heard some people even describe him as Indiana Jones. So we'll wait and see on that. But I want to pivot to what I think is the most important game of the weekend. And it's this Chiefs-Giants game. You got 0-2 Chiefs versus 0-2 Giants. And you got Patrick Mahomes coming off his 30th birthday and going into New York to face Russell Wilson, someone who's on the last leg of his career. And it's really two things that stick out. One, is the Chiefs dynasty over? Or is it in a stall like Brady? I think this is the defining game if they can squeeze out a win here. And then two, Russell Wilson. He's been bouncing around since Seattle, from Denver to Pittsburgh. Hasn't really worked out. I honestly didn't hate this move, given the fact that Russell Wilson still can play, still is a good leader. I think just he hasn't had the right fit as a coach, and you saw what Dable was able to do with Daniel Jones. They won a playoff game. So I think, the winner of the game gets their season back. If it's the Chiefs, they get confidence to say, okay, calm down. We just had a rough 2-week stretch. We can bounce back like they have before in seasons where they won the Super Bowl, where they've started out very slow and then just kind of kicked up the ranks. And then also if the Giants win, then, it's Russell Wilson beating Mahomes in prime time, and showing that he does belong to be starting for the New York Giants and not giving the reins over to some Ole Miss rookie who I think needs years to develop, or else we're going to get into a situation like Zach Wilson where, it's just, why do we waste this much draft capital on a guy who clearly needs time to develop or is just a backup? So that's number 2. And I think the last thing I want to touch on is just the top 5 teams through 2 weeks. Week 1 you have some weird nuances where guys didn't play in the preseason. You're playing in a different country, like in Brazil, and just a lot of weird stuff. And then week 2, I feel like is really determining factors if this team is ready to play or not. I think through 2 weeks you can really understand who's a player and who's not. Week 1, a lot of weird things going on. Teams in Brazil, guys haven't played the whole preseason. You can really just have odd reasons to lose. And so I'd like to give teams another chance for week 2, which is where it's like, okay, we really have to play well. So number 5, I'm going to say the Detroit Lions. I'm not giving up on them yet. I know they had a tough week 1 in Green Bay. Green Bay is a very good team, so I'm not undermining that. I think that also people are a little concerned about Ben Johnson leaving and the Jets, their old defensive coordinator. So I think the Lions are a team that's underappreciated. They have the same weapons, offense, defense. They got Aiden Hutchinson back. You saw what they dismantled to my Bears. So I think it's going to be interesting to see them build off of that. I think they're just as good as they were the year before, if not better, with their ability being fully healthy and their passing coordinators and now their OC. So it's not someone new in the building. So I'm having them at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I think that they're still the team to beat in the AFC of just the regular season, because it's inevitable that it's hard to stop Lamar Jackson, as he's could have won his 3rd MVP. But yeah, I still think that they played a tough Bills team week 1, and then they kind of got back to business week 2 against the Browns. And with Joe Burrow being out, I think that they're going to elevate their game even more. So I don't think there's any slowing down for them. Number 3, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. They played week 1 against a very surprising Dallas team. People underestimated given Micah Parsons leaving. A new head coach, new running game. Dak Prescott looks very efficient. We're going to see this week when they play the Bears how they end up doing. But I think the Eagles still have shown that they're the champs for a reason. Same team. I think they only lost like 2 starters on both sides of the ball. It's insane. And they went into Kansas City last week against a team that was hungry, a little bit desperate, and they still show that they're the team to mess with. Saquon is unreal. The tush push is still unstoppable. So I think that they're going to be number 3. They just haven't looked dominant. You know what I mean? So coming at number 2, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. Top to bottom, I think that this is the team that can make a run at a Super Bowl this year. I think that they have all the pieces. The line, J. Love has so much time back there. Josh Jacobs is very, very good. Micah Parsons, the addition. You can see what he's done to Jared Goff and Caleb Williams, or Jared Goff and Jaden Daniels. So it's just been interesting, and I feel like he fits like a glove up in Green Bay. And then number 1, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Like I said in the opener, they played 2 primetime games. Josh Allen has literally not turned the ball over, and it's just been in sync, on time, no questions asked. I think he could win the MVP again this year, just given how they've looked against a very good Baltimore team and then a Miami team that just didn't even look like they're on the same level. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, who you think the best teams are in the NFL, how you think your team is doing, and we'll see you next time.